Greetings. Welcome to One Love Center for Spiritual Living. Yes, I'm still Reverend Rodney. And we're here to start off the month of April in a wonderful, powerful way. I want to thank you all for watching, for tuning in, for viewing whenever this happens, whether you're doing it live or you're watching the the video recording. Just know that you are most certainly welcome all the time. And, this is a great month. We're talking about renewal. We're talking about all of the good that is happening coming out of winter, whether we realize that we have a hand in it or not. We recognize the good in all form. So we're talking about today enriching our soil of possibility. And as usual, before we go any further, we're going to start with our opening song. Oh, by the way, we do have a special guest. We have an extra special guest who has actually joined us when we used to meet in person. However, she is here with us online, and that is Atilah Kadijah Wilson. And I'll introduce her in just a moment. We're going to start with our opening song. And that is Choosing Heaven. So please remember, what you're choosing for yourself, you're choosing for all. Why? Because we're all one. So also in the comments, feel free to type in what you're choosing for yourself. Okay, so let's have it. Choosing Heaven today. Greetings once again and welcome again to One Love Center for Spiritual Living. Here at One Love Center, we are on a mission. We're on a mission of God. And that mission is to provide a stable and welcoming community for all who choose to learn, practice, grow, and play in the unfolding of their understanding of spiritual principles and spiritual living. That's what it's all about, right? Spiritual living. And we envision the world, individually and collectively, as a sacred environment where spiritual living flourishes through the continual growth and development of the learning and application of spiritual principles, right? That's how you get to live spiritually, by applying spiritual principle. And so One Love Center practices compassion in service, love in action, and joyous, prosperous giving in the community. And our community has been lovingly created as a place of fellowship, meditation, prayer, sacred and healing service, musical celebration, classes, workshop, and spiritual films. And we know this in our heart and in our mind and our soul of the Spirit, that we recognize the splendor of the infinite divine Spirit within you. And please know that we support you in being the best you choose to be in this glorious life. And we thank you for celebrating Spirit with us today. So welcome to a place where love grows. Welcome. And so right now, it's my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker, our guest contributor, and that is Atilah Kadijah Wilson. And she is going to do our opening prayer, our evocation, as we like to say, evoking the word of the divine from within. And we'll find out a little bit more about her after when we're going to do our talk. So I give you Atilah.
Of the world and all the ways that we walk and talk and have our being. And so we're first of all grateful for life, not whose shoulders, sacrifices, dreams, sweat, aspirations, and obstacles even we stand upon. But we are grateful for this day that we have been chosen and allowed to see this new day. Thank you for all the magnanimous gifts that you offer us, the ones sometimes we forget to thank you for, the air in our lungs, the sun that shines. Sometimes we just take those things for granted. We want to stop just one moment and give praise and thanks for the day. Thank you for the change of seasons, that we are in the springtime in this part of the world. We're in the springtime of the year, which is where all things begin to grow and sprout and start anew. So thank you for this time, rebirth, regeneration, rethinking, reconsideration, renaissance, all of those things. We thank you that we have been allowed the opportunity to start again, to restart or to continue. Thank you for our visions, both physical and spiritual. Thank you for our ability to hear, both physically, both of our mundane and our spiritual hearing. Thank you for the action of our hands that we might do good things. Thank you for our feet that will carry us to good places, that we might stand on our feet in truth and honesty and love and support. Yes. Thank you for our families, biological and extended, that support us. Thank you for the family of man. Thank you for the families of God that are continuing to function and make a difference in the world. Despite what it may look like, we are moving forward. We're moving in positive ways. We thank you that we are following you, yes, Almighty God, in our various paths, whatever our traditions may or may not be, yes, that you have set the example and we are allowed to choose the way in which we're going to serve and have our being. Thank you for the opportunity to have choice. We give praise and thanks for this new day. We give praise and thanks for this, yes, new moment. Yes. We give praise and thanks for the activity of our bodies and our minds. We give praise and thanks that not only did we wake up, but we woke up in the world not alone, yes, that there are others in the world who woke up with us. So whether they give praise and thanks, we are taking the opportunity to give praise and thanks for them. Yes. And we say for all of your many, 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 many gifts that you've given us, again, the ones we mention and the ones we forget to mention, we are indeed grateful. We believe that the goodness we put in the world has an effect. Sooner, later, immediately or not, it is important that we put good character, love, generosity, compassion, respect. If we don't put it there, it won't be there. Yeah. So we're grateful for the parts that we continue to give and to contribute. For this and all of the many blessings and opportunities we are recipients of, we do indeed on this day give thanks and praise. And in our, my African tradition, we say Laila Kataje when we talk to God. It means that God gets his off the top from the very beginning, whether we think of it or not think of it. Just the fact that we can think at all is a praise to the magnificent presence of God in the world and in the universe. So we at this moment say Laila Kataje wo. We do indeed give praise and thanks.
And so it is. Amen.
Amen.
Yes,
Lord
thank
God.
you. Oh, we are prayed up.
Yes. Indeed. We came in prayed. We came in that way.
That's it. That's it. Yes, indeed. And so you just experienced powerful prayer. And what we do at Centers for Spiritual Living and all of our centers and churches and ministers and practitioners, we are trained professionals in praying. And we are ready, willing, and able to remind you that spirit is the power, so therefore full of power and already always within you for your immediate use. And for whatever reason, if you don't seem to remember that, you call on us and ask for prayer, ask for a spiritual mind treatment. And we do that. And we do that willingly and lovingly, and we do it for free. Okay, there's no charge for us to do that. So make a prayer request. Request for prayer support, you can send an email to revrod17@gmail.com, or you can call 844-295-5155. All your prayer requests are kept in the strictest of confidence. And also, please know that we pray for 7 days. And we fully expect during that time, your prayer will be answered. So what we request is that you let us know when your prayer has been answered. Because otherwise we'll just keep praying. We're like, well, we know it's like called push, pray until something happens. So let us know when something happens. And if not, we'll continue to pray about whatever that situation is. And like I like to say, if there's so much joy in your life, you don't know how to handle it. Well, call on us and we'll pray that there is within you enough to handle all that goes on, all that joy, and more. And anything less than that, we certainly will know the truth about whatever that situation is. So use us for that. Okay. Also, just a quick note, we want to thank folks in advance for your giving, for your time, your offerings, and just thank you so much for that. And at any time during this celebration or at any time, any day of the week, please feel free to make a donation. And you can do it through onelovecenter.org website, and you can click on donate and maybe use PayPal if you like. Or you can use the Cash Me app, which is $CSL, $One Love CSL. And that way we will gladly receive any amount that you feel free to share. And so it's my good pleasure again to have with us Atilah Kadijah Wilson. Her name is actually much longer, but we
left off Manyansa, but it's okay.
Right. And so I'm going to let you introduce yourself, because you could probably do it more succinctly than I could. So how would you normally introduce yourself to our
Atilah Kadijah. Answer is fine. As Reverend Rodney said, I have a long name, a long set of names, and I'm grateful to have them because those names are really given to me by different people for different things. Many traditions with people, African people, indigenous people, then they name you for either something you've done or something they see in you. So it's a way of accepting you into their particular traditional way. But Atilah Kadijah is fine for introduction. I don't know what else you want to know.
Okay. I do want to mention that Atilah does mean teacher, to say the very least.
Mm-hmm.
And she
Born
has
to teach.
Excuse me?
Born to teach. Born to teach.
Born to teach.
Yes.
So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
And has taught and instructed and helped to initiate dozens and dozens of women, young girls, women, into their adulthood. And so did you want to just say?
Well, that's one of the things that I do.
Yes.
Rites of passage for females of African descent. It is a puberty rites of passage, of course, is for young girls. But as I've moved along in my development and in my life and in the life of the world here, I've also done this initiation for adult women. So I no longer say, for girls, but it is for females of African descent. And it's a way to establish the kind of qualities and morals and values and I would say requirements, if we want to use that word, for young women to move into acceptable adulthood. We live in a world, there's so much happening in the world, some good, some not so good. But the point is to begin to establish a core set of foundations by which we can expect and judge and have our being and move in the world in a way that our community, whatever that community is defined as, finds acceptable for a woman to move in the world. Women are very powerful. People are very powerful.
Yes.
Overall, phenomena are very powerful, but we're speaking, in this case, specifically about women. Yeah. But I'm not relegated to only doing them. For rites of passage, yes. But I also am an ordained minister, interfaith minister, and I'm also initiated to aging tradition of Senegal Mali, as well as to the Orisha of the Yoruba tradition. So, trying to find God, looking for God, finding him, Olodumare, Oyaluwode, Neter, and all the various names that we have for the one creator whose names are infinite. That's my interest and my passion, because certainly God exists all over, and I'm using God, of course, in quotes, all over, and we can find him if we're only looking to, and I'm looking to.
Yes, well, thank you. And we are the seekers, we seek that spirit everywhere,
yes.
And we get to see it everywhere. The saying is, seek and ye shall find.
That's right.
Okay, and what we're talking about today, and thank you for your introduction. Yeah, that's a lot more than I could put into a short phrase. So thank you. And so, we're talking about enriching our soil of possibility, fertilizing our future. And most certainly Atilah does that. She fertilizes our future, helping to raise young women and adult women into recognizing the truth of who they are and how they operate in the world. And so we're enriching our soil of possibility. And it's interesting because the soil, as you know, in that sense, gives birth to our possibilities. And there are times when it does need enrichment. It's one thing that it's there, the soil is there, but the soil, literally speaking, can be depleted of nutrients. And we're looking at ourselves as the soil that on this physical level from which our lives grow out from. Yeah, and the possibilities grow out from. And so it's very interesting that we get to think about these things and talk about them and see what those possibilities are. Not just the possibilities, but how we get to be intentional with our lives. And on a cosmic level, there are unlimited possibilities.
Mhm.
Okay. However, the more we focus, the more we get to sharpen our vision of what the possibilities are for our lives. And therefore, you can't just grow any plant in any soil. We have to enrich the soil that's going to work for us, for our possibilities to grow and expand and be all that they are meant to be. In other words, all that we're meant to be. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to dive into that. And even especially look at how our past experiences nourish our personal and spiritual growth. And that's something a lot of people don't like to do. They don't want to look at the past. They don't want to take a look at it for whatever that fear might be. Maybe they thought they made mistakes. Maybe they thought that they did something wrong, or they feel guilty or ashamed, and not looking at, well, what's the flip side of that? So anyway, we're going to look at some of that today. However, we're going to also entertain some quotes to help fertilize the soil. So our conversation. And I'm not sure if you can read that, Atilah. Are you able to read that? What's on the screen?
Let me see. I can make it out.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me see if I can help you out there. That's all right. So here, how about here? Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's perfect.
Okay.
So are you wanting me to
Yes,
read
please
it?
read that and give us some remarks on that.
Okay. Like the creative soil in which seeds are planted and from which plant life grows, the soul of the universe is the creative medium into which the world of spirit falls and from which creation arises. And that quote is from Ernest Holmes, The Science of Mind, page 582.8. And so it says, like the creative soil in which seeds are planted and from which plant life grows. That's how it begins. And so I would say that there is like that comes from like. We can be spiritual because we're born of the spirit.
Yes.
And so similar things grow out of similar soil. The soil is already the foundation for which you can find things to sprout and to germinate and begin to have their existence. And so we grow because we are spiritual beings. We are an old expression, an old proverb. I'm sure you're familiar. We are not spirits. We are not only spirits having a human experience. We are humans having a spiritual experience as well. And so the universe is the place in which we have the whole entire universe is the place in which we have the opportunity to grow and have our being. And so that means we have to look at who it is that we are and what it is that we're planting so that we can see what it is. You can have good soil and bad seeds. You can have bad seeds and good soil. So what are you really putting in? That's what that quote begins to spark for me. I don't know how much you want me to talk about it.
No, that's fine.
Forward.
Yeah, well, that's great. And it reminds us that also be reminded that the seed is the thought. Okay, so the thought that you plant into the garden of your mind is going to grow like that seed. So we have to pay very strict attention as you said, you could have bad seeds. You could have thoughts that are not supporting your highest and best experience in the moment, however long that moment is. There are some people that harbor, they keep planting the same old seed and keep growing the same old experience and wondering, why is this happening? Maybe they're planting weed seeds and you got a whole bunch of weeds in the garden and you can't eat them, and they're not contributing to your well-being. And it's the same with our thoughts. And so the thoughts get planted into our soil, into our soul, and we energize it, we nurture them, and they grow. That creative medium it's said that, it is no respecter of persons. Whatever you put in there is going to take it and think you want to put it there. Oh, that's what you want? Well, here you go. And from that, the word of spirit, the seed and creation arises from within that soil. Okay, so we gotta till the earth. We gotta keep ourselves in good shape. So when we put seeds in there, they're gonna grow according to what they're supposed to be. Thank you for starting us off on that. Okay, we have another quote. Let's bring that up. And this is I'll read it. It says, "Thoughts going into the subjective are like seeds, as I just mentioned. They act through the creative medium of mind and must have within themselves the full power to develop and to express. But how could they express unless they already known to mind? They could not. So mind must view the thought as already completed in the thing. And mind must also contain the avenue through which the idea is to be expressed. Every thought sets the fulfillment of its desire in motion in mind, and mind sees the thing as already done." Now, that's a mouthful. And here's how how it makes sense to me. And I've used this example before. It's a 1,000-piece picture puzzle. Mm-hmm. When you get the puzzle, you look at the box. It's already done. You see what it is. What happens? You open a box and they're all scattered. They're all pieces all over the place. But guess what? Every piece fits. Yes. It's already completed because you know what it looks like from the outside. And that's the mind, capital M, the mind of God. The mind of divine says, okay, it's like, yes, I want a tree. And already knows it's an apple tree. And then make the apple tree have seeds. And the seeds planted in the soil are going to come to be, can only be an apple tree. Mm-hmm. So it's already done in the mind. And when we have an idea, if you want to go to school for a degree or whatever you want to attain, you already know what you want to attain before you start from day one. You know what it is. And we do everything step by step to have it show up in the physical realm, to show up into the fulfillment of that desire, right? Is there anything you'd like to add to that?
A couple things come to mind. One is I agree that many times we already know, but I'm of the opinion that we don't always already know. And there are therefore foundational pieces or fundamental pieces of that. We know that it is known. So there's a difference between what we know and what is known. So the box, yes, on the puzzle box is already there. The picture is already there. We didn't put the picture there necessarily. We bought it or found it that way. And so our task, of course, in doing a jigsaw puzzle, any of those puzzles, is to figure out how do the pieces fit together. So thought is one part of making that picture happen. But in our lives, in our spirit, there are a number of things: thoughts, concepts, action, words. All of those things are components. Just like we can put a seed in the soil, and it's great to talk about the seed, but if we don't add some water and some food and plant food, whatever that may be, some sunshine, that seed is going to sit in that soil but not be productive. And so we can have a thought, and sometimes we don't always have a thought, but as we begin to grow, as that seed becomes watered and becomes nurtured, there are decisions being made all of the time. And so you begin to recognize that, oh, it's this, or oh, I'm feeling that, or oh, look, I have, I don't know, blooms and blossoms where I didn't know I had them. I didn't start out that way knowing, but as we move along and as we begin to feed ourselves with the various things that we need, again, words and actions, sometimes you're not sure what that is, what the end process is going to be. You know what you would like to have happen sometimes, and sometimes you leave yourself open to the happening. Either way, you have to feed that process. Either way, you have to feed that thought. So you have to have some idea of what a good destination for you will be. What kind of person do you want to be? Maybe you're not exactly sure what direction that person will take, but you know the fundamental principles of what that being a good person is. And so beginning to look at yourself and consider who you are and your word. Sometimes you begin to just put into motion by the things you say, even when you're not certain of what it is that you want to do, but you're sure what you want to accomplish or what you don't want to accomplish. Sometimes I'm not sure what I want to do, but I know I don't want to do this. And I know I don't want to do that.
Right.
So the knowing, the mind is very important. The word, and of course, needless to say, the action that comes. I'm also going to say that it takes all kind of, if we're talking about, again, nourishing the soil, looking to see that the soil is reusable, because they have in farming what they call that rotational farming, which means that the soil can be used again to make something grow. Sometimes you've got to rotate it and move it around. So Reverend Rodney spoke earlier about some of the experiences that we have that are good or not good. Well, I'm going to say this, all experience is good. That's my thought. All experience is good. The outcomes are not always what we want them to be, but if we learn and grow from them, it was a good experience. I know that sounds difficult, especially, as I said, when the outcomes are difficult, when they're not what we want them to be, when we find them to be harmful or painful. If we learn from them, then it's a good experience. Right. If we don't, then it's just an experience and it's going to repeat. So I'm saying that to say that that soil in which we plant ourselves can be useful for continuing to plant good things, continuing to have good things. What I can say is that nothing ever grows if the seed doesn't at some point in time become planted. And so you have to look at where it is that you want to have your start. And the good thing about life and soil is that we get to have a restart because the plan is already there. Yes. There's a song that Pharaoh Saunders has made very popular. The creative has a master plan. Yes. And so there is a plan there. Let's not move in the world thinking that we just have not a clue. You know, a lot of times we buy into that expression, oh, there are no manuals for life. Yes, there are manuals for life. There may not be printed manuals, and sometimes they are, but there is a design for our lives and a way for us to find out what those designs are. Absolutely. Thank you for that. This is very enriching. If you and at the end of this quote, it says, every thought sets the fulfillment of its desire in motion in mind, and mind sees the thing is already done. Now, the same as planting seeds. Not every seed is going to germinate, it's going to blossom, it's going to grow. And so what this really means is when you have your thoughts, you have your desire, you have that thought, it needs nurturing. You have to nurture that thought, like you're nurturing the seed, like Atilah said. You have to give it the sunshine and feed the soil and feed the plant, the roots, everything. So for that fulfillment, okay? Because just having a random thought, just casting a seed out there, a thought out there, doesn't mean it's going to take hold. Yes, absolutely. Right? So we have to we have to give it attention, and the proper attention. So I just wanted to add that to it. Absolutely. Yeah, thank you. And let's bring up another quote. This is so much in alignment. Would you read that? Just as you would not neglect seeds that you planted with hope that they will bear vegetables and fruits and flowers, so you must attend to nourish the garden of your becoming. And so what we know is that one way or another, if our life continues, God's spirit, our life, we're going to be here. We're going to become. right? Every day you wake up, you have an opportunity. What are you becoming is the question. And how are you planning to move with that becoming? And so I'm going to introduce in this conversation, the unseen sometimes, things that happen when things need to grow. We talked about water, that can be pretty tangible. We talked about plant food, that can be pretty tangible. But the wind that carries the seeds sometimes, the wind, there are nutrients in the wind. Sometimes we don't even think about that. The fact that the effect of air on that plant has everything to do, or much to do, with how it grows. So in this case, some of that wind's element is our faith and our belief that things are going to be good. You need more than that. Certainly, as we said earlier, you need some of those tangibles. What is it that you're watering yourself with? What sunshine are you basking in? Because that plant is going to be shaped, aside from the nucleus of the seed, which has in it all of the elements that could create a thing to be what it ought to be. There are influences that also help to shape how that plant or thing, because we keep using the plant reference, but it's also impacted by other things aside from what it's intended to be. God has an intention for our life. Our higher power has an intention for our life. Whether we look like that or not depends upon where we place ourselves. What kind of sunshine are we standing in? Sometimes the sunshine is other people's words, other people's actions, our interactions. Sometimes the water with which we are watered is spoiled water, stagnant, not good water. And so we have to look at the quality of those things, and we also have to look at what it is our faith is and what it is we put out there. Our word is made up, yes, of all the syllables and the phrases that language brings, but ultimately it's the air and the breath that comes out of our bodies. We cannot speak and shape spoken words without some element of air. And air tends to be what we would pretty much consider intangible. We don't really see it. We see what it can do. We see the effects of it. So again, so is your life. We see what you can be. We see the effects of it. We don't see all the things that sometimes it takes. It takes you sometimes in those quiet moments. What do your prayers sound like? What are you asking for when it comes down to it? Where are you going to ensure that those things that you are asking for, requesting, have a place to germinate? Because you can ask for an orange in the middle of an apple grove. Your possibility of getting it is very slight, right? There may be some kind of something that happens in nature so again, the environment in which you find yourself. So start to look in your life at the kind of environments you put inside and outside of yourself, because again, I'm going to go back to the jigsaw puzzle box. The plan is there. The higher power, our creative power, our creator, absolutely has a divine plan for you in mind, for your life, and for the good that your life can be.
True spoken. Yes, absolutely. And along those lines, you mentioned a very important word, environment. When it becomes tangible, it goes from the intangible to the tangible.
Yes.
And no man is an island, no man stands alone. So when we are being consciously aware of our growth, our spiritual growth, our physical growth, our emotional, whatever, and all those levels, there's also community. It's like, who am I associating with?
Yes.
That environment is very important. You don't stay in kindergarten your whole life. You have to advance, because of whatever stage of learning we're at. If I'm, ready for the second grade, I'm still sitting in kindergarten and everybody else is moving on, my growth is going to be very limited. And we need to focus on that as well. Like, wait a minute, am I in a healthy, supportive community? Am I in a healthy, supportive environment? And how did that saying go? You are who you hang out with, that kind of saying. And it's true, if you want to progress, you have to be with people who have the mindset of progressing.
Yes.
The mindset of wanting more and better and greater for themselves. And if that's what you want, then you align yourself with that kind of thinking, with that kind of mindset. Yeah. And it's very important if you're looking for that kind of growth. Otherwise, you just stay stagnant. And actually, stagnant doesn't mean necessarily still. Things get worse. When it's stagnant, it gets worse. It doesn't just stay the same. It gets funky and smelly, and and our lives can feel like that. If we're not paying attention. Mm-hmm. It's like how am I moving to the level where I want to be? And eventually, they say when the pain outweighs the pleasure, you'll do something about it. If you're feeling stuck, that's good. Some people don't realize that they're stuck.
Right. They're
comfortable in their stuckness until it becomes too painful. And that's when there are the tools that we get to use to be mindful of what's going on, to be aware, like meditation.
Yes.
When we allow ourselves to be still, we can hear that still small voice that's always speaking. And most of the time we don't hear it always speaking because we're trying to out-talk it and trying to be heard ourselves. And when we want to make a change, want to make a difference in our lives, we need to listen to that divine voice, the one that wants our best for us. Yeah. So we have another quote. Let's bring that up. And this is from a quote by Emily Heath about Christianity. It says, when both Jesus and Paul were saying what they both were saying is this: if you want to have a bountiful harvest, you have to plant. And if you want to plant, before you do anything, you have to first have good soil. Mm-hmm. And even the best soil needs to be cultivated first. Our spiritual lives are the soil unto which God's blessings are poured. The good news is that none of us is created with a bad soul or bad soil. In fact, we are all created, as Genesis tells us, very good. And we possess within ourselves ground in which God's Holy Spirit can move and create new life. So I just wanted to get that out. That's so much in alignment, which we're already speaking about. Yeah. So we're not making this stuff up, folks. We can move on to the next one, unless you want to move on. Yeah. That's okay. Fine. What else? Do we have another? All right. So here, perhaps you read that one. I love this.
Okay. Humility, which comes from the word humus, the soil, offers more than a bowed head. It gives us a connection with everything older than we are, and so provides us with a calming perspective outside of our daily worries and often beyond our understanding. And that quote is by Mark Nepo, the Book of Awakening, pages 266 to 267. And so again, humility begins obviously with the word humus, which means soil. So it references in the quote that I just read that it's more than a bowed head, because sometimes we have some ideas about what humility means, but it gives us a connection to everything older than we are. I just this past Friday participated in the homegoing service for my goddaughter, and her ancestry is Chinese and African. Wonderful combination. But I had found a Chinese quote that I used for a homegoing service, but it says that the yellow roses owe their existence to the black soil. And so what it was talking about in that moment is that the earth where the ancestors live, right? Because when ancestors are buried, we understand that there's a coffin and covering and all of that. But the quote refers to the fact that we are all born of the things that precede us, just as this quote says. So that these yellow roses, which is the beautiful thing that comes as a result of the black soil, meaning black, meaning enriched, meaning full of nutrients, meaning dark, and a place where beautiful things grow from. And so just as it is in line with this quote, that what comes before us and what is around us shapes who who it is that we are. I agree a little bit with Reverend Rod, or somewhat, I'll say, in talking about that small, still voice, because sometimes in trying to find God, we end up playing God. And so learning to really understand who you are and what is input in your environment and what the experiences are helps you to find that voice. We often hear a lot of voices. And many times, depending upon the outcome, we want to say, oh, yeah, that was God speaking to me. Oh, yeah, God told me. Oh, yeah, I got quiet. And therefore, but again, we're talking about it's more than just the quiet. It's more, and just as humility is more than just the bowed head. What happens in that spirit and what happens in that space where you are learning to listen for that voice of God that's going to direct you. And again, helping to, the wonderful combination of life is God and us and what we can do. So again, the Creator has a plan for us, and are we going to be in alignment with it is where we are. Are we going to follow that divine destiny that we have, and how do we hear it? And how we hear it and how we recognize it has a lot to do, again, with this whole analogy about planting ourselves well, finding that we're well planted, finding that we're putting the kinds of support systems in place that help us to grow, because a plant doesn't generally grow itself. And even those plants that are low care, because I'm not that great with green plants and that stuff. I'm great out in the garden, but put them in the pot and all of those things. I don't have that green thumb. But what I do know is that a plant is not going to grow itself. Like I said, even the ones that are low care or low light. So the environment in which you place that plant has, again, almost everything to do, or I won't say everything, has a great deal to do. So as you begin to enrich your soil, because that's what we're talking about, how does that soil become enriched? The soil is there because the soil is the plan that's already set. How do we enrich that soil? How do we make that soil better? How do we make it more nutritious for who it is that we are? And you can't do that till you understand who you are. Mm-hmm. And not only who you are, but whose you are.
Yes.
And then you begin to grow very differently. It's like how when we talk to children or other people, there's an African proverb that says, tell a woman how beautiful she is and watch how beautiful she becomes. Mm-hmm. And so it has to do, again, with the word that we put out, with the action that we put out. And so that is part of how we enrich our soil. What kind of things are you telling yourself that will, or allowing yourself to be told, that allow you to grow into the beautiful being that you are definitely divine to be?
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you so much for that. And we want to think about long term. Right? We want to think about what can I do on a consistent basis to keep my soil fertile, yes. To continue to have growth. I mean, this is not a one season thing, It's like, oh, okay, I had a great season, but, we want to continue season after season.
Yes.
And what farmers do, I mean, taking the example, they're grateful. The planting season, they're grateful in advance for the good that they know is already promised them. All right. It's like in our lives, yes, it's great to be grateful when we receive something, but how about being grateful before receiving it, from the idea that it's already done in the mind of God? Yes. It's already done. So therefore, that intangible that was mentioned, it's already done. Get the feeling of it as it's already done. When I guess way back in the day, and maybe even today, during the planting season, it's a joyous thing. There are all those rituals and rites that have been incorporated in other religions as well. But the whole planting season is one of joy. And they're like, yes, my good is coming. And that energy also impregnates the soil, also enriches the soil. It enriches the soul. And how you feel enriched, how you feel grateful about, as the saying says, the more you give thanks, the more you get to give thanks about. Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so, so that's part of a big part of it as well. That's I mean, your soul will be enriched just by the act of gratitude.
Yes.
And you set your intention, you plant your seed on in that soul of gratitude, and the universe can't help but like, oh, you're thankful about that. How about this? And let me give you more and let it keep coming. So yes. Oh,
I just want to add also,
yes,
please keep in mind that as we talk about plants and people and souls and spirit, there are those plants that are perennials. They grow at a particular time and not at another. There are those plants that of course, springtime, we think of everything growing, but not everything grows in the spring. There are some plants that come into fruition in the summertime, which is the fullness of the year. There are some that are autumnal in their growth, and there are even those that do grow in the winter. We think that everything shuts down in the winter, but that's not necessarily true. We generally look for those hollies, those sturdier plants that do absolutely grow in the wintertime. So that becomes really, really important to not, try to think that if I don't grow at this moment or come into my fullness at this moment, I've probably missed the boat. Right. Every plant, everything in the world, Ecclesiastes tells us to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. Yes. And so don't worry if you feel like you're not in season, because every plant doesn't grow at the same time, just as every being doesn't grow at the same time. But take a minute again to consider yourself and how you enrich your soil. What does your soil consist of? Because just like everything else in the world, there's a balance. There's a certain level of makeup, composition that causes a thing to be what it is. Some things need more water, some less. Some need more iron, some less. Some need more sunshine, some need almost no sunshine. We talk about plants that need a lot of water. A cactus, if you overwater it, it's no good. Other plants, if you underwater it, they're no good. So understanding who it is that you are, and the wonderful thing, one of the most wonderful things about our Creator is that in his infinite wisdom, he created us differently. We have the same components, and again, the combinations are different. So you get the opportunity. Every flower is not going to be a rose or a chrysanthemum or a daffodil or a tree or a bush. Some will only produce the seeds that cross-pollinate to make something else grow. So again, understanding who you are is a part of enriching your soil, putting your energy, your thought, and deciding what kind of person at the end of the day, or we're using plant as an analogy, but who is it that I want to be at the end of the day, and what is my makeup so that I can be and do exactly that. So take a moment to breathe in and breathe out and think about what it is that you want for your life, and look at the tools you've been given to make that come to fruition.
Yes, awesome. And there are so many tools besides meditation. There's journaling. There are classes, there are workshops, there are things that help us look inside of ourselves and get to decide and make goals.
There are songs that are inspirational for people.
Yes.
Also, so
inspirational reading.
The things you listen to and feed yourself with. So sometimes it's about the music you listen to and the lyrics of the music, because some people are inspired just by those. There's songs that get them moving or growing or thinking, reflecting. So again, the Creator has put so many avenues for our growth and development. He has already provided the myriad of tools that we can use to enrich our soil.
Absolutely. And this one is by Rumi. He's Sufi. He's a Sufi poet. He says, "In this earth, in this soil, is this pure field. Let's not plant any seed other than seeds of compassion and love." There is like, what thoughts am I going to harbor? What thoughts am I going to plant and nurture? Seeds of compassion and love is a great start. Okay, so at this point, we're going to move into affirmations. These are other tools that we get to use to frame our lives and to fertilize and frame and grow, especially when we're looking to make change. And so, as we usually do, I'm going to invite each one to take a breath each time we read the affirmation, and we'll do each one twice. So take a breath. It is so that I enrich my soil of possibilities, nurturing a fertile ground for my dreams to grow. Let's do that again. Take a breath. It is so that I enrich my soil of possibilities, nurturing a fertile ground for my dreams to grow. And the next one, and we'll have Atilah do that. Invite them to take a breath.
It is so that I recognize the strength and resilience I developed as I navigated through life's ups and downs. Let's say this again. Mm-hmm. Breathe in and release. It is so. I recognize the strength and resilience I developed as I navigated through life's ups and downs.
And take a breath. It is so that I cultivate a mindset focused on enduring growth and lasting fulfillment, leading to a richer, more satisfying life. Oh, let's do that again. Breathe in. It is so that I cultivate a mindset focused on enduring growth and lasting fulfillment, leading to a richer, more satisfying life. And so it is, and now it is. Amen. Right on, Ashe.
Yes.
Yes. And so I'm going to invite Atilah back in just a moment. At this point, we're going to do a grounding prayer for this session. I'm not even sure if we could. We are grounded, but I know I'm floating. I'm sure all you are floating from the wonderful grace and wisdom sharing Atilah has been sharing with us. And so just go within, just knowing that right here, right now, all there is one. One life, that life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. It's the life of each and every one. And each and every one is most certainly the soil of spirit, the soul of spirit. Each one is individualized expression of the one. And so therefore, each one is open to doing their very best to receive the good, to receive the nurturance, to receive the love, to receive the joy, the compassion, the vibrant health, and all that is necessary for the plant seed ideas to grow, to fulfillment, to blossom, and to attract a greater good, for the germination, for that idea to spread, for the good ideas to spread, for the good feelings to spread, for the good desire to expand and grow. I know that this is true in all of our affairs, in the affairs of our heart, in the affairs of our relationships.
Yes.
And knowing that each one is open to nurturing, loving, harmonious relationships. Because all there is one. We've already established that all there is God, God expressing in, through, and as all of its creations. So therefore, being that we are all ones of the one, there is only the greater expression of this love. There is no need for conflict. There is no need for war. There is no need for anything, because it is all God recognizing itself as each other. And so therefore, knowing that this is spreading one by one, two by two, that each one is getting the mindset and recognizing and revealing the true nature of who they are and who each and every other one is, that we're all one. So there is no rational reason for conflict or harm or hurt.
Yes.
That each one recognizes the love that each one is, sees the Christ consciousness, the Christ awareness, the Christ presence within each one, the presence of God that each one is. And we get to nurture that and allow that to grow and blossom and assist each one as we assist ourselves in this. Yes. I know this is true with our health. that where vibrant health is being revealed with every breath, that we give thanks and give gratitude for that which is supporting and nurturing us, from the breath and the air and the water and the sun and all that is available for our greater good, knowing that every cell of our body knows what to do and how to do it, and we support it with clear and vibrant mental health and awareness and emotional health, saying yes to the good that continues to flow in, through, and as us. I am knowing that this is true in our affairs, of whether we're in school or working, our health of all that it is that we are about when we name and claim who we are and what we're here to do, in alignment with the master plan that says, yes, I know why I am here. I know whose I am and who I am and why I am, and know that it is nurtured by that very agreement that says yes. It says, yes, thank you, yes. And so I allow this word, already known in the mind of God and spoken and shared in the one mind that is shared by all, and just know that each one says yes to the greater good, how it unfolds in all the different soil and all the different seasons, that each one says yes. And so I release this word to the law, the perfect law of life, the law of the universe, that knows what to do with this word, that knows how to do it. And so I simply let it be the good that it unfolds to be right here, right now. And I affirm it by saying, and so it is, and now it is. Yes. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you.
Okay, so we do have
That's some good plant food right there. Yeah. That's some good plant food. We can grow with that.
Yes, oh yes. Woo. Vitalizer. And yes, so One Love Center has prayer professionals ready, willing, and able to remind you that Spirit is full of power, charge, and already always within you for your immediate use. And I want to say, if you don't get it from us, get it from somewhere. Make sure you have in your community, you have in your flower box, in your garden, something somewhere where you can get support, you can get nurtured, you can have in your community where you can speak and feel heard and be listened to, and where you can listen to words that are going to fertilize you and help you grow.
Yes.
And please send in your prayer requests to us. And we don't care what religion you are or what denomination or what spiritual path. We work with everybody. You can email us at revrod17@gmail.com, or you can call 844-295-5155, or your prayer requests are kept in the strictest of confidence. And we thank you in advance. And so use us. All right. Also, we are grateful. It begins and ends, and a lot of gratitude sprinkled in the middle for your donations to One Love. And you can use the Cash Me app at $OneLoveCSL. You can also go to our website, onelovecenter.org, and you can hit the donate button, and you can use PayPal or whatever means is available to you. And we thank you in advance again for your givingness, for your desire to give, for your ability, and for your willingness. So we have an affirmation of abundance. And as our Ellen, who thank you so much, working behind the scenes today, she likes to say, hey, put your hand over your heart. I say, feel that vibration of love, of God's love that gives to us 100%. God doesn't hold back, and this is from where we're able to give. And we have an affirmation of abundance. It says, money, as one of many gifts of spirit, is good. And as I share my offerings, I know that I am actively creating a space to receive more gift, more money, and more good. And I am grateful for the ability to give and for the good work these gifts do in our center and in our world.
Yes.
And now it is. Thank you for your giving us. Thank you. Okay, so we do have some announcements before we go to our closing prayer and closing song. And so please hang around for all of that. We are looking for a member or a friend of a member or a friend of a friend to assist with our managing our broadcast. And it's very easy, and we do all the training. We don't have to do every Sunday or every event. However, we look forward to some help. And you can contact us again through our email, revrod17 at gmail.com or 844-295-5155 to be of assistance, to be of service. Bless you and thank you. And also, Beyond Limits. Move into living beyond your limiting belief by registering for our class, Beyond Limits. And go to our website, onelovecenter.org/events. And let us know if you're interested in taking this class, and let's make that happen. Okay. And if you don't think you have limiting beliefs, well, that's a limiting belief. So, so just to let you know that, listen, all are welcome. If you've taken it before, hey, be free to take it again. Also, we invite you to join us for Convention of the Americas at Chapala, Mexico, July 22nd to the 26th. Please connect with Ellen Suazo to start a payment plan at I can't read that. COTALAS Americas at gmail.com. That's Convention of the Americas. However, it's COTALAS Americas at gmail.com. And so I went last year. I'm really hoping and praying I'm going again this year, God willing. And yes. Most certainly going to get my payment plan going. Why not? Make it easy. And it's wonderful. It's in a wonderful area of Mexico. It's wonderfully safe. It's beautiful surroundings. It's not just in Spanish. It's in Spanish and English. And it's just folks that come from all over. You're going to love it. Okay, so at this time, bring back Atilah for any closing remarks. Is there anything that you want to sum up?
I really don't have closing remarks. I think that, we put the seed there. Mm-hmm. So the closing remarks, we're not going to close remarks. Those are opening remarks. And so now we've opened the ground.
Yes.
We've prepared the soil for you to now implant and enrich with your thoughts, your faith, your prayers, your words, your actions, and ultimately your growth and blossoming.
Yes.
And then your renaissance, because things that live also die, and die and regenerate, because we believe there is that one life, yes. And that is God's life, and that is our life.
Yes.
And so in the continuation of life moving forward, just know that you have prayer partners.
Yes.
Out there. Sometimes we don't always know who they are sometimes. Mm-hmm. People who are praying for our good and for our continued growth and development, whether it's specifically or whether it's generically, whether the prayer is for all people of good character or striving for good character, or whether the prayer is specifically for you. So my closing remark is my opening remark.
Yes.
That we are open to receive, we are open to give, we are open to grow, that you would find that combination, a composition combination that is going to allow you to flourish to be your greatest, highest good and potential.
Yes.
And that you be not only a lone flower, a lone sprout, a lone blossom, but that you be in the company, in the garden of the other goodness that exists around, that the fullness of color and scent and shape and height and purpose would surround your life, that you might have the abundance that we know is available, that is already given from the very, very beginning. And so we continue to move and have our being again in the spirit, in the force, in the one life that is God's life.
Yes.
Whatever word you use for God, for that creative beginning of all that ever is, was, ever will be, or can be. And so we close as we open, or we open as we close, in the continuum of how life moves, that you will be blessed abundantly always.
And moving into this week ahead, we know that we are blessed with everything that is necessary for our continual growth and unfoldment.
Well done.
And those words spoken, I know that it is good, and I release these words knowing that they return full to overflowing for each and every one. Yes. And with that, we say amen, Ashe, and so it is, and now it is.
Now it is.
Right on. So we have a wonderful song to close with. So stick around for the whole song, and we'll be right back. Rising every day, blooming every day. Oh, in the presence of the divine, the presence of the divine in us. Yes. Thank you all for being with us. Thank you, Atilah.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. And please come back again.
Absolutely.
All right. And all of you, please come back again and share the video. Share this, because I know somebody besides you is going to get something out of this. We'll see you again. Peace and blessings, beloved.
Peace.